We'll get to Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff ahead of tonight's game with the Anaheim Ducks. Jeremy and Joe on this warmish Tuesday morning, like a rain-snow mix. Lindy, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. How are we?
Good. First order of business, can you tell us about Rob Ray's availability tonight?
I don't know. We're going to get an update when he gets in today. So
Okay.
Knowing Razor, I think he's going to be able to go.
Yeah. That's it was a incredible moment, and I appreciated your story. You got hit with a puck. Was it last year in New Jersey?
Yeah, I got one. I got one in the head last year too with New Jersey, and the doctors there ruled me out for the last period, which is the first period I've ever missed.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, you could have said whatever you wanted there, though, because you're not on a mic. Although I feel like, Lindy, that, if you get hit with a puck, I feel like all bets are off for the FCC.
I think it's all bets off, too, for sure.
Well, tonight, Anaheim, let's get the other injuries updates out of the way, whatever you might be able to tell us. Jason Zucker, Alex Tuck, both on this list of players to check in on.
Both guys were hoping to have skate this morning. It'll be an optional skate down here, but those two guys will go out and test and see if they're able to go. So I won't know a lot until after they skate this morning.
But I would just kind of guess there that neither is thought to be a long term if they're already ready to skate this morning.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that if they don't play, we're looking at day to day and in all likelihood back for the next game.
All right.
Good news on Talk, too, right? Because when he's down, Lindy, I don't know if you thought the same thing, but it looked like, not knowing yet what it was, that it could have been bad.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first thing you go to was, maybe knee, ankle, or something like that, but it wasn't anything like that. So I think we got good news. And in speaking with him yesterday, he was feeling good, and, he was hoping he'd have a good day and then come in here this morning and skate and be ready to go.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff joining us. So tonight, Anaheim and the stretch run here. What was it like the first game back after the lengthy break? Were you a little bit concerned about players finding a way to kind of just jump back in? Were practices a little more lively to kind of make sure that didn't happen? What was your expectation on the first game back?
Well, we had a real good week of practice. The first 2 days, real demanding, real hard. Kind of erred on the side where we go longer. Practices were both over an hour long, and you don't really have hands on your players through a 8-9 day break. So you use that first day to judge where you think they're at. I think some of our guys were in a real good place. I thought other guys were playing a little bit of catch up. I thought day 2 was an even better day. We kind of mapped out a strength day, off ice training day on the third day, and then back at it. I thought we really skated well. I thought we came out well. It was one of those times you don't really know, and I think you see around the league what you're going to get from your club. There's a lot of high scores, a lot of play that I think coaches probably disappointed in, and we were on the better end of it, which is what I like.
You got out to another big first period lead. You're best team in the league this year in the first period. Are you feeling like this is a game where you're up 5-0? So the lead is big enough for sure, and then the third you get a couple. Are you feeling like there's progress being made when you are building those leads, how the team continues to play after the fact in the second and third?
No, I do. I think we're in a better place as a group. We're trying to, just maintain this consistent style of play. And I think every coach, with whatever system they're playing, believes that if they can get consistent play night in, shift in, shift out, when you get a big lead, there's a case in point. If you're going to give up something, make sure it's not a high-quality opportunity and don't get loose. I think in the past we've got a little bit loose, and it's allowed teams to kind of claw their way back. The Rangers scored a real nice power play goal, the deflection by Kreider, and then, they got pretty lucky on their second one. And I liked the way we were playing. We weren't giving up much, and we were still generating some good quality opportunities. So I think we've learned our real hard lesson. We had some tough losses. I think it's made us tougher. and we've moved on from it, and I think we're better for it.
Two goals from Ryan McLeod on Saturday. He's now set his career high already. He's only at 52 games on the year. From what you knew about his game before this year, how much of his season do you think is about his growth of his game versus just getting more opportunities than maybe he would have, had availability for in Edmonton?
Yeah, great. I knew, quite a bit about him. Coached his brother in New Jersey, obviously. Both these guys are dynamic skaters. And, in our case, we knew how well he could skate, and we felt he had a good all-around game. He's been known a little bit more for his defensive play. But we thought we could get some good offense out of him. And I think he's proving that. His speed alone has generated a lot of good opportunities, and he's finishing on some of those opportunities now. So he's got his game in a real good place, and he's going to be an important piece here for us down the stretch.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff on the Western Hotline. Lindy, we talked a little bit last week about, I'm saying Joe and I talked about something that you had mentioned. I saw Paul write about it, the bold plan, getting 7 out of 10, kind of how to get to the end of the season and have a chance. And while that might not exactly be likely, I feel like it's important to have done the math. Do you find that presenting it, the players, it kind of gives them a clear goal? Is that something mentally to make sure, hey, there's no reason not to dial in here to try and shoot for something?
Yeah, we felt as a coaching staff that we needed to set some goals, what would be a realistic goal to try to, claw our way out of the trench that we built for ourselves. And, we've played strong hockey here, last 20, 25 games, and we've won 5 out of 6. And knowing that we did look at where the last wild card team would probably end up in a range, and felt we'd give the team goals to get to that point, knowing that, your last 4 or 5 games of the season would be really important. I'd love for us to early on here exceed those goals and, put together an even better run, which I think we're capable of. I think the way we played last game proves that we are capable of that. But there's a lot of things that, go into winning the game, and some nights you can get beat by goaltending, and we've been beat a lot of nights or we've let an opposition goaltender beat us where we haven't scored enough. I think if we can get the scoring and take advantage of our opportunities and play solid defensively, there's no reason we can't claw our way back into position.
When you're doing that math, do you feel like the way that we just kind of talk about how you did it is better than, just putting up on the board like, hey, we got to win 7 in a row here, when there's an off game or when there's a game where a bad bounce goes your way? It's like, goal over, kind of like this kind of keeps it in the picture more?
I do. I think that, when you're looking at 7 out of 10, it allows for a game where things don't go your way. You've got maybe an overtime loss or whatever, but the 7 out of 10, we know 7 out of 10 is demanding. You get in this part of the season, and everybody needs points. There's this group of teams that are hanging on to a wild card spot, and there's a group of teams that are clawing away trying to get into a wild card spot. So every night you're going to have an opportunity to play a team that's going to help you gain ground on one of those spots. So those numbers are realistic, and we set some goals with goals against and goals for, and some special teams goals that we feel if our special teams can maintain a certain rate through those 5 games, that'll help us win. So not just about points, but about how we get to those points. And goals against is a big deal. We got to cut down the goals against and maintain, a 3+ goals for to be a consistent club.
Trade deadline's a week from Friday. What kind of conversations are you having with Kevin Adams about that? About long-term ideas, short-term ideas? As we get to about 10 days away, is it a day-to-day conversation about what the group looks like, who the core pieces are? It
is a day-to-day. Kevin is Very interested in, breaking down post game and looking at what we think and what we see and where we feel that we are as a group. I think this is a time of year where every team out there is trying to make a decision, whether they can get better. I know there's teams out there that, talk about the selling or, maybe it's time to regroup. I don't believe we're in that position. I think you always should be in a position to make yourself better. One game at a time. And sometimes it's one piece that can really push you over the line to becoming an even more consistent team when it comes to winning hockey games.
And you have 6 games before that deadline, and we'll see what happens. Do you think, especially in these 6 games and maybe beyond that, knowing that Tuck's got this injury and Zucker, is this the fullest maybe you feel like the lineup has been for you all year, where you have the clearest picture of it? Because obviously Greenway missed a lot of time and Tage missed some time earlier in the year. Just you look at the lineup now and it just kind of feels more clear than other times during the season.
I totally agree with you, and you've mentioned a couple guys, and you look at what Darlene has battled through for a good part of the year. So when it comes to the people back in the lineup, the health of the lineup, and knowing that Tuck and Zucker aren't long term, I think it is. We're in a good place to evaluate what kind of team we are. Are we that consistent team that we can win? At that 650, 700 rate to get us there. Is this group good enough to, have special teams that can win that special teams battle every night? Because that's really important, too, at this time of year. So I think you're right. The group right now we're in as good a place as we've been since maybe, I don't know if we've been this good because, early in the year we had Darlene that was, nursing injury, missed some camps. So I think probably right now with the break coming and coming out of this break, we're almost as healthy as we can be, and we've got everybody except for the 2 guys we've mentioned in the lineup.
With more guys available, one on Zach Benson, he's kind of looked like he's been playing more on a defensive role lately. Is that something that you think he's been doing well at? He still has an assist in a couple games in a row, but would you agree with that he's kind of taking on more of a defensive role lately?
I don't know if I would use the word defensive. I haven't talked to him about a defensive role. I just talked to him, just about playing hard. The kid plays hard. He plays with a lot of passion. If anything, I talked to the whole group about how well we need to play defensively as a group, those 5 guys on the ice. So there really is no defensive talk with individual players. I think he was up the lineup for a while. When you're down there, in that 3rd or 4th line, he's still killing penalties. He's an important piece for us with how hard he plays. It's not about the defensive part. I think it's about just playing real hard and trying to make a difference every shift you go out there.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff. Lindy, before we let you go, want to give a closing thought on the 4 Nations? We had fun talking about it with you, and of course the entire hockey world loved to watch it. And the final lived up to it.
It was incredible. It was a tournament that was just great for the game all the way around. To end up with Canada, U.S., what a hockey game it was. And, I think we all agree that, 2 or 3 really big saves in overtime by the Canadian goaltender Bainton, and the game could have went that way. And all of a sudden you get possibly the world's greatest player gets open in the hole, and, it takes him a split second to put in the top corner. So, what a tournament! What a great look for the game, and the energy in that tournament was incredible.
Yeah. Well, Lindy, best of luck tonight, and thanks for the conversation.
You're welcome, gentlemen. Thank you.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff for his weekly hit with us here as we prepare for Sabres and Ducks tonight.